People who make $10,000 to $50,000 per month. What do you do and how did you get there? There are 2 rules to live by for maximizing your income. These are economic laws also that you can go study and look into. What job/skill/labor is in very high demand? How hard is the qualified labor to find and hire? If the job is needed badly because the economic need is great and few people possess the qualifications for it, the salary for that job will go up. Both of those things must be met to get the salary high. Not one or the other. There are very few people who are experts and have a PhD in, let's say, ancient literature. But where is the economic demand for it? There are lots of food service jobs in high demand and slots needed to fill. But basically, any functioning human is qualified to do it. You make no money at either of those fields. Why does a doctor make so much money? Because hardly anyone has the ability or discipline to make themselves get through medical school training. And the demand is immense. People have lots of health problems. The population keeps growing, so more and more doctors are needed. This is the economic concept of supply and demand. This determines pricing of goods and services and salaries. I make music for TV and film. Worked hard for 12 years, started making bigger money last couple of years. The budgets are bigger on bigger projects. Honestly, I got an entry-level job in pharmaceuticals making $12 per hour approximately 15 years ago, and it just turned into a really well-compensated career. My degree is completely unrelated. I've just managed to be in the right place at the right time. I struggle with how I'm going to guide my kids relative to careers because my approach isn't easily replicatable. In terms of advice that I can actually speak to, keep up connections, especially if you feel like you're in an industry you're going to stay in. It's not bad to know people at lots of companies and to have a good reputation. Be an easy-to-lead employee. Hopefully you find yourself working for a good boss. But in some jobs, at some levels, simply caring about your job and thinking about the impact of your work is enough to rise above the masses. We're at about $100,000 to $140,000 a month and retired for about 4 years now. Business income, $80,000 to $100,000 a month profit. Yes, we're retired, but still run a business. The business needs a couple hours a week to answer questions from our team, run payroll, approve things, etc. Dividend income, $25,000 to $30,000 a month. Self-explanatory. Options premiums, $8,000 to $20,000 a month. I do the wheel strategy on a small chunk of my portfolio for added income. Rental income, $4,000 to $5,000 a month. This is on 3 houses we own in California. The mortgages, taxes, utilities, and property management are all covered by the rent. We earn an extra $4,000 to $5,000 over the expenses. The rub is that we can live off a tiny fraction of this amount. We moved to Thailand and it costs about $2,000 a month to live very well in our own 5-bedroom pool villa just off the beach. We go to Singapore 5 to 6 times a year for healthcare, adding on average another $1,000 to $2,000 a month in expenses. Our only large budgetary expense is our travel, which amounts to about $30,000 to $35,000 per month, including airfare, accommodations, transportation, food, etc. This is about 3 to 4 months a year. About $10,000 a month averaged out. So we can live quite comfortably off of about 10% of our earnings. The rest gets reinvested to grow the asset pile, now about 11 million. A few questions for you. What kind of business do you run? What kind of investments do your dividends come from? Basically the same as number 2. Are you speaking about stock options? With the rental income, did you structure the rent to make a profit, or was it just covering the mortgage, utilities, etc.? We have an education business that my wife started in 2009 out of our 1-bedroom apartment back then. Things went very well, and we now have a team of 15 people who run the school for us. Dividends are mostly from high-yield covered call ETFs that I've been investing in since COVID. They don't appreciate much, but they make consistent yield. Options are a leveraged investment product that allows you to bet on stock direction. They are harder to use, since if you buy them, you need to not only bet on the correct price, but it has to hit that price by a certain date. I usually don't buy options, but rather sell them, since as you read above, the odds are against the buyer. Rental income. We take in about $14,000 or so a month, but $10,000 is mortgages, taxes, maintenance, and property management fees. We keep about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. It wasn't planned. We used to live in each of our rentals, but when we traded up, we never sold them. I tend never to sell an asset, especially income producing, tax-advantaged ones like rental properties. Only 0.5% of Americans make $50,000 per month, so you have 99.5% chance of failure. Try to create passive income of any kind, invest every penny. Skip one drink and take that and invest. Invest in a broad index fund. Buy assets, not experiences. Few cheap XP are okay, I guess. Invest in your education. Be trustworthy. Don't sabotage relationships for ego or fairness. Paying someone extra for what they deserve is not going to destroy you. Invest in friends and share your life, both good and bad, with them. Those who don't reciprocate, ignore, and move on. But don't burn the bridge. 25 to 40,000 a month here. Own a business, do real estate and consulting on the side. Opening a second business, Q for 2026. Business owner is about the only reliable way to make 300 to 500,000 or more a year. My goal is 100,000 per month by Q4 2027. Total work time for me each week ranges from 5 to 20 hours. I gave up my 20s to work law enforcement with extreme hours, working conditions, and an assload of overtime. Finished my college degree online while working overnights when it was slow, LOL. As soon as I finished, I began developing a business during any free waking hours I had. I saved around 40 to 50,000, and by my late 20s, I gambled it on that business plan I created. I'm now in my mid-30s. Married, own my house, cars, trucks, dog, acreage. I set my own hours and schedule. I now own 4 businesses, and each one is doing somewhere between 6 fig to 1.2 million a year. It took discipline, patience, being okay with losing a decade of my young life and all the experiences that come with it, and becoming numb to every motherfucker who said, "You'll never make it." I'm probably on the lower end, maybe 11 to 12,000 per month living in a MCOL area, but just a normal job working as a systems engineer. I got to this point because of hard work and being smart. I started in the military, was stupid with finances, was homeless, etc. I eventually got back on my feet working 12-hour night shifts as an armed security officer making $10 per hour. I thought to myself, this job sucks and pays nothing. So I decided to go to school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew some liberal arts degree was a bad choice. As much as I like psychology or drawing, I needed something to pay the bills and had job security. I took a 1-credit course in engineering, and that solidified my view, and I got my degree in computer engineering. Now, I completed my master's and currently working on my PhD, hoping to double or triple my salary if I'm lucky. I also took a job at a company that paid for my master's, and I have a full-ride fellowship for my PhD. I was breaking the law and putting 30 to 50,000 in the bank every month. Needless to say, I got indicted. Was looking at 205 years originally, did long-term live in treatment for a year, and sat for 4.5 months in jail. On probation, another couple of years, and I have 20 over my head. On federal and state radar, probably heavily monitored by all. Needless to say, I'm broke. Considering nobody got hurt in regards to my previous lifestyle choices, I guess they just didn't want to see me come up in the world. Maybe try crypto or Forex. Definitely had a few good hits on digital investments back in my kingpin days. Is there decent legal money out there? Of course. In many cases, without a degree, it takes money to make money. People struggling to keep a roof over their heads rarely have the free time or finances to invest in themselves. Sure, it happens. But to folks used to getting everything from out the mud, yeah, the only opportunities we see are the ones we can create for ourselves, or the ones offered by our peers. My peers had more or less turned me into a kingpin. I was just building a framework for most of my life as the guy who loved to be numb to any and everything that I had crossed paths with. No longer a criminal. I should be proud, grateful to be free, but I'm surely not proud. Poverty is a vivid reminder of why my freedom stopped having significance. Pre-indictment. Breaking the law is easy for me. Living a life that I despise because I wish to do better is a test of my resolve, durability. Can't bring myself to give up now after all I've been through since I got out up until now. Sending prayers your way. Thank you so much for watching. Please share your thoughts on the video in the comments. Follow me on Instagram. See you soon.